too turned out. Hold on. Models doing ballet. This is a fun one. So this is not necessarily for my ballet students, or maybe it is. Maybe you could benefit a little bit from this if you're a beginner and you want some ballet photos, but you want to look like you know what you're doing. But this is mostly catered to, hi, are you a model? Welcome to my YouTube. I am a professional ballet dancer and ballet teacher, and I'm here to make sure you don't look weird in your ballet themed photo shoot, because if it looks bad, the dancers are gonna roast you. The real dancers are going to roast you. So I'm not blaming the models. A lot of the times a model will just book a gig, they get hired to do something, and a lot of the times they don't even know what the theme is or what the thing is until they show up. And the producer hands them a pair of pointe shoes or hands them a tutu, and they're like, oh shit, I don't know what to do. So this video is for models who need to look like a ballet dancer in your photo shoot. This one is not about pointe shoes. The pointe shoe models doing ballet, pointe shoe edition is going to be a separate video because there's a whole lot, that's a whole separate issue. Today is mostly your leg placement, your angles to the camera, arm positions, and what your feet are doing, okay? So if you're a model, I'm sure you're familiar that there are certain angles that look more flattering, and in ballet, we also have angles, but they're a little bit different than your traditional model poses. So let's get to the basics. So in ballet, the positions and what the legs and arms are doing, it's very binary. It's either on or off. It's there or it's not. There is no in-between, halfway, half-bent thing. If you're posing, it has to be exact. So of course, we cannot continue without talking about the thing that makes ballet ballet. It is turnout. When you go to a dance or specifically ballet photo shoot, you must change the way your legs are oriented. There is no knees and toes pointing forward. I mean, you know, depending on the angle, like yes, sometimes a knee will be pointing towards the camera, but your legs are like this. The moment you walk in, you have to be in the mindset of the whole leg is turned out. It's not just the ankle, it's not just the knee, the whole leg. And I know this is a little bit difficult for people that have never done ballet before. Obviously, we don't want you injured, but you have to do your best to not stand parallel anywhere. Your legs should never be parallel, not even one open and one parallel. No, both open. So you have to come in with the mindset of the legs rotated out. There is no position, there is never a time where you are like this. With that in mind, when you are doing things towards the camera, there is a general rule that you should try to keep in mind when you are working with the feet. It's very rare to be angled just front facing to the camera, and it's also kind of rare to be very front facing in ballet. It's not a flattering pose. You look wide, you look awkward, you look very square. So I'm assuming modeling is similar to ballet in the fact that there's always some kind of angle to make you look longer, to make you look slimmer, whatever. So when you are doing stuff towards the camera, in general, I mean, there are exceptions to this, but for a beginner to get the most flattering pose, the leg that is closest to the camera, you always want to hide the heel. Now, what does that mean? That means that you never want this happening. You never want your heel showing because you're turning out. Remember, we are in duck feet mode. We're in duck mode, turning out, or penguin mode, however you gotta think about it. So when you are doing something towards the camera, you want to imagine you're hiding your heel, and you do this by exaggerating that rotation movement, getting the heel forward. You hide the heel by keeping it forward instead of this. Because if you do this, all the ballet dancers on Instagram are going to roast you. You must hide the heel. You don't have to do extreme turnout where the heel is presented forward like some, but it's just hide the heel. Don't let it stick out in the back. Rotate the whole leg so that the camera does not see your heel. The heel closest to the camera. To the side, it's a little easier. You don't have to worry as much about the twisting. Just make sure your leg is a straight line. A lot of positions in ballet are about creating the illusion of one long line. So if you're doing this, always straighten the leg. If you're doing something with a straight leg, straighten it to max capacity, not somewhere in between. You must straighten to max capacity. Even if you don't have the best feet, I don't have the best feet either. Like this is me pointing with all my might and it's still not the best. I don't have a high instep. So even if you can't point your foot like banana shape like ballet dancers do, at least make sure you are hiding the heel. To the back is a little harder, but it can be done. Hide the heel. This involves a feeling of, almost pushing the heel forward. Don't exaggerate it because we'll catch that too. We'll see you're crunching your big toe on the floor. All the toes must feel somewhat straight. You don't want to crunch your toes because that's also bad. It's a straight, look at my foot. This is very important in ballet. This is very important about the feet. You must make the ankle, the top of the ankle, a straight line. If you're ever like this, if you ever break that line, if there's ever a crease here, that's the dead giveaway that you should not have been hired for this job. So you must point to the top of the foot and make it a straight line, in line with your shin, okay? And even if the toes aren't great, you can disguise that with the angles. Now, I was talking about when the leg is behind you to hide the heel. Imagine you're pushing it forward. This involves a feeling called winging. Ballet dancers wing their feet. It is the exact opposite of sickling. We always see that ugly sickling position. We always see that in ads or marketing campaigns or whatever when the model that was hired is not a dancer. So I do have a video about winging. You can watch that if you care enough about your modeling job and you care enough about your dance gig. But it is essentially the feeling of, instead of elongating the outside of the ankle. So you see right now the outside of my ankle, the outer side, the lateral side, if you know your anatomy. The lateral side is the long side, and the inside of my ankle is the crunched part, the curved part, the short part. It is the opposite of that. You must imagine you are lengthening the side of your leg that's connected to your big toe, the medial part of your foot. You must imagine you are lengthening the big toe part of your foot and shortening a little bit the lateral side, the outside. So instead of this, it's the opposite. Heel forward, lengthen the part of your leg attached to the big toe, and shorten a little bit the pinky toe side of your foot. It will almost feel like you're trying to get your pinky toe up to the ceiling, at least if you're going to the back. It is still that same feeling to the front. We are still elongating the big toe part of the foot and shortening the pinky toe part of the foot so that this doesn't happen. That's also dangerous. Model, ballet dancer, even regular pedestrian, athlete, no matter what, this is dangerous. That's how you sprain an ankle. So this is also a safety tip. So here are some general poses that you can do as a model, keeping in mind that the leg closest to the camera is the one that has the hidden heel because you are turning out. The leg that is the leg that is farthest from the camera, you generally want to show that heel more. You walk on set, and it's like, oh, what do? I gotta do a ballet thing. Not point shoes today. Remember, again, point shoes is a whole separate thing. You just walked in and they hand you some crappy little slippers and they put a tutu on you and they say, go do ballet poses. And you're like, oh shit, what do I do? What do I do? Oh, another thing about the slippers. When you show up to this photo shoot, they're gonna pull a pair of ballet slippers or point shoes that match your regular street shoe size because they don't know any better. People are stupid. So, you know, let's say your shoe size is like an 8. Well, I got big feet. Mine are 8.5, 9-ish. So whatever. You're a small, skinny model. Let's say your shoe size is a 6. Like, hey, you can do this modeling gig? Yeah, okay. You can do a dance thing? Yeah, okay, great. And they see on your resume or your portfolio that your shoe size is a 6. So what do? They go grab size 6 slippers or size 6 point shoes, and that is awful. Because usually ballet shoes, whether they're slippers or point shoes, and it varies by brand too. Every brand has a different size guide. Every brand has a different size chart. So just because you're a 6 in street shoes, that does not mean you are a 6 in ballet shoes. Sometimes you have to do 2 sizes smaller than your street shoe, 2 sizes larger than your street shoe. They have all these details on width, and if you're doing point shoes, hardness, vamp, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It is in your best interest to say, and I don't know if as a model you are allowed to say this, when you're booking your shoot, whatever, just be like, hey, you know, I'm really excited to do this dance photo shoot, but can you please have multiple sizes of shoe available? Sometimes ballet shoes don't match the street shoe size. Because another thing that we see a lot when models are doing ballet, the slipper is like way too big on them. It's chunky, it's wrinkly, there's all these bunches of fabric hanging off the heel. It looks awful. Anytime you do anything in ballet, the shoe should be tight. In fact, even a little bit smaller is safer than something too big, especially in point shoes. So no matter what, the shoe should be sculpted to your foot. It should be tight. There should be no bunching or chunky chunks of fabric hanging off. So when you get the slippers, you have to make sure they are sculpted to your foot. It should feel like a sock. And, you know, if you got to pull the drawstring, there is a drawstring on the front of a lot of slippers. It's just like pulling the drawstring on your sweatpants. You got to pull it, tighten it, tie a tight knot, and tuck it in. We don't want to see the stringy elastics coming out on your slippers. Okay, so, sorry. Start over. You just showed up at your ballet photo shoot. They gave you some crappy slippers and they gave you a tutu. And they say, okay, do something ballet. You are the camera. You're my camera, okay? Something you could do. You don't want to be completely profile to the camera, although that can also be a thing, but that's like a more, whatever, advanced later, I don't know. You usually want to be a quarter turn away from the camera. That is the most flattering. That is the most flattering for your torso, your neck, your back, your legs, and your feet. So, remember, you can do something with this front leg, the leg closest to the camera, but all you gotta do is remember to hide the heel. You don't have to be super turned out, 180 degrees turn out. You just have to do enough to hide the heel, okay? So all I did, I'm standing like a duck, this is first position. All I did was do a tendu to the front and point my foot, and the knee is straight. You must straighten this knee all the way. You have to see that little kneecap muscle engage. You have to see these muscles engage. If you do it like this, lazy kneecaps, the dancers on Instagram will roast you. So, a pose like this. I mean, my laptop is from the top down, which is generally unflattering. A good photographer will probably be a little lower, like shooting upwards or whatever, but usually quarter turn away from the camera. Tendu to the front, hide the heel, don't let this happen. This heel, it's okay to let this heel show, that's fine, no big deal. Tendu to the front, do all you have to do, and then maybe tilt your head away. So look what I'm doing. My foot, all the way up to my head, has created one long line, almost a diagonal line. And all you do is cross the downstage arm, the arm closest to the camera. All you do is cross wrist, not too high, not too bent, almost like they're resting on your tutu. Gentle hands. Don't do this. Don't pretend you're eating a hamburger. Just gentle. thumbs almost touching the base of your middle finger, and show the opposite cheek. So even though the right side of your body is facing the camera, you want the left cheek, left neck. Sorry, my computer went to sleep. Wake up, stay awake. Right side of the body, tendu the right foot, hide the right heel, right over left. That's it. That's one. Pose one. You did it. You got one pose already. Beautiful. Now to the side, this is kind of awkward. Even in ballet, we don't usually have photographs just like this. It's a little awkward. However, if the photographer is like, oh yeah, do that, you know what you can do to make it interesting? We gotta go over the arm positions too. In ballet, there are only like 3 to 4 places that your arms can be. And I'm teaching the Vaganova positions right now. There's preparation, which is down here, a long round oval. Oval, okay? Not diamond, not rectangle, oval. The elbows are always soft. You are always making a soft shape with no sharp angles in your arm. So preparation is a low oval, hands almost in front of your pubic bone. First position, fix my tutu. First position is exactly that, but fingertips across from the belly button. And all you do is raise the lower arm. You don't raise the shoulders ever in ballet. Shoulders always down and back, chest always open, very royal, very regal, okay? Arms can only be here, here. Second position, all you do is open from the elbow. All you do is open from the elbow. And third, which is basically like the opposite of the preparation position, the oval right above your head. We get a little lower. Oval right above your head. It is an oval. It is not bent. It is not a rectangle. It is an oval. You are always making a soft, round oval with your arms. Those are the only 4 places your arms can ever be, or an extension of that position. So if you are doing an arabesque, for example, one arm in first, one arm in second, and all you do is lengthen the wrists. That's it. The arms didn't change. I'm not doing this. Just do it slow. Arms in first, open one arm in second, and just lengthen from the elbow and flatten the wrists. You can do that in any position. Allonge both arms in third, allonge both arms in second. We never allonge or we never lengthen both arms in first position. Very rarely, like if we're doing like a little pas de courroux or something maybe, but it is not common to see this. One arm in first, one arm in second, yes, we do this. One arm in first, one arm in third, yes, we do this. One arm in third, one arm in second. Yes, we do this from time to time. So once again, we need something to do in these poses. We have our first pose. 1, boom, beauty. Not too close. Don't like squish your chest and raise your shoulders. Relaxed, elbows to the sides of the ribs. Pose number 1. Beauty, great. Now the photographer's like, oh, great, that's great. Now do something, put your leg to the side. Okay, to the side, but now what do I do with my arms? Put one arm in third, one arm in second. Boom, you're doing écarté front. You're doing écarté front. Beautiful écarté front. And the photographer's like, oh, that's great, do something else. You know what you do? Pivot your body just a little bit. Now we can have a side profile, shoulders profile to the camera. Leg behind you, arabesque position. Remember, big toe touching the floor, not this, no pinky toes touching the floor. Hide your heel, and one arm in first, one arm in second, and all you do is lengthen. Look, you are now a model with no ballet experience doing a beautiful ballet pose. Head looks over the hand. I just gave you 3 poses, 3 basic poses that any jerk could do. I could probably drag my husband up here and have him do these poses. You got number 1, this is nice and graceful. You got number 2, you're doing écarté front and you don't even know what that is. And then shoulders to the camera, boom. Number 3, arabesque. If you want to be extra about it, stand in arabesque, only using your butt muscle. Don't bend forward. This is like a leg raise exercise at the gym where you're targeting your butt, you know, the donkey kicks. Everything stays the same. All you do is pick it up. Nothing else changed. See, I didn't do this. I didn't do this. Just exactly as you are, and only the butt lifts it up. You have to stay long and vertical up here. Boom. You're a model that's doing ballet poses the right way. Now, if you have something to hold on to, I love seeing these things at the bar. Oh, there's a ballet bar. Go make it look like you're stretching. And you're like, uh-huh, 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 uh-huh. Okay. Fun fact, ballet dancers very rarely do the back leg, the leg closest to the bar. We very rarely put our leg that is closest to the bar on the wall. So for example, if my left hand is on the bar, it is not common for the left side, the left leg, to go on the bar. You can, but a ballet dancer would be like, what's the point of that stretch? It's not doing anything. So what we usually do, and this is also a very flattering angle, your left hand is on the bar, quarter turn towards the bar, so not all the way facing the bar, somewhere between perpendicular and parallel. I'm going off my shoulders. Right now my shoulders are perpendicular to the bar. This is shoulders parallel to the bar. We're going somewhere in between. Quarter turn. Left hand on the bar, right leg on the bar. Hopefully it is not too high. Hopefully you don't have to bend your standing leg to get it up there, because nothing gives away a model that has no ballet experience like this. Or turned in. Or like weird, sickling, like a nice, flattering, simple pose at the bar for a model that knows nothing about ballet. Left hand on the bar, quarter turn to the left, pick up the right leg, put it up. Now here, lots of little details into this simple stretch. Look, a lot of models do this. Their toes are up. It's the opposite. You want to imagine your toes are going down to the floor and your heel is up. That same heel forward feeling that we've been working on all day. And the standing leg should be straight. Why? Because when we are doing this at the bar, we are generally doing it to stretch. If the leg is bent, we're not stretching anything. We try to stretch both legs. So here's what you do. Hopefully if you're a model, you also focus on working out and stretching. Hopefully you do a little yoga. So hopefully you are flexible enough to reach forward and touch one toe. That would be great. So start in first position, both heels forward, the standing heel too. This leg on the bar, toes almost pointing over and down to the floor. All you're gonna do, take your arm in second position, hinge from the hips, don't curl like a little macaroni noodle. Everything is straight, you are only hinging from the hips, head to the side. Oh, and lay down on your leg. You can rest the wrist over your ankle. Arm and your leg are kind of on the same line. Oh, and look, she's resting. She's stretching. That's it. Pose number 4. I just gave you pose number 4. You can also just do the arm up. This is fine. There's nothing wrong with this pose. Just standing here. You want to add a little releve? I don't know why. Just make sure that this hip is down. We don't like to lift the hips in ballet. I mean, we do in some places, but this hip should be down. So you are actually getting the most extreme stretch. The foot is as high as it will go, and the bottom of the butt cheek is as low as it will go. You don't want this, right? So look, we're just standing at the bar, back is tall, and we stretch. I just gave you 5 poses that are safe and easy. Number 1, quarter turn towards the camera, wrists lightly crossed over your tutu, hide the heel, left cheek to the camera. Pose number 2, tendu to the side, one arm up, one arm in second position. Look, écarté front, arabesque, shoulders profile smile to the camera. Tendu back. One arm in first, one arm in second, but all you did was flatten the wrist. And as I said, you can pick this up, arabesque. Now we come to the barre. You have a thing to hold on to. Left hand on the barre. Opposite leg on the barre. Quarter turn towards the barre. We're not like this, although we can do poses like that, but like this. All you do is reach forward. Oh, relax on your leg, so nice. And this, there's nothing wrong with this. Just make sure the standing leg is straight. Make sure both heels are forward, reaching forward, even the one on the barre. The heel is reaching forward. It should almost feel like the heel is going up and the toes are going down. Opposite of this. This. We'll know when we see it. All right, when they say something like, go on your toes, do something on one leg, this is opening a whole can of worms. So I cannot explain all of the things that go into a proper releve here in this video. We'll be here for like 40 minutes. I already have a proper releve video. You can watch that. If you care that much about your modeling in a dance-themed photo shoot career, you can watch that. But the basics are, when you are on releve, when you're doing something on your toes, you must keep the top of your foot a straight line. Your shin to the top of your metatarsals must be a straight line. You can't do this. You can't do this. If you don't have the strength to go up like you're in the highest stiletto possible, then don't do it. Because then it's going to look like this and it's going to look awful and you are going to get roasted on social media. Anytime they want you doing something on your toes, you must create a straight line from your shin down to where your toes flex, the bottom of your metatarsals. That's it. There is no in between. This is ballet, not jazz, not modern, not lyrical. This is ballet. It's either a proper releve or it's down. That's it. There's none of this. Can't have it. And try to keep most of your weight in your first two big toes, the big toe and the second toe. Never back here in your pinky toes, because number one, that's sickling and that's hella ugly, and number two, that's dangerous. That's how you sprain ankles, and that goes against all of the heel forward turnout stuff that we've been talking about, okay? So anytime you are on your toes, highest possible releve, meaning highest possible, like get your heels all the way up. Imagine you're in the highest stiletto possible, and get your weight over the big toe and second toe. So they want you to do something on releve, huh? Here's a simple one. Simple flattering one. Quarter turn away from the camera. The leg closest to the camera, cross in front. Go up on your toes. And even though we turn the body a quarter turn away from the camera, we're going to twist the shoulders towards the camera and show the right cheek to the camera. Are you noticing a little bit of opposition here? It's like even though the left side of the body is facing the camera, we create the illusion of a longer line by twisting in the opposite direction. So left side of the body facing the camera, left leg in front, up on your highest toes, legs crossed. Also, there is no space in between the legs. This is not a ballet position. This, no space in between the legs. Ankles are completely crossed. It should look like you only have one foot, not 2 feet. Hide the back foot, although when we're angled to the side, you will see a little bit of the back foot. But anyway, highest releve, straight knees. This is not ballet. It's either completely straight or completely bent. So in this case, you'd be doing like a weird plie forced arch pose, but we don't really do this in ballet, so don't do that. So legs are completely straight, not somewhere in the middle. Completely straight. Left side of the body facing the camera, left leg in front, tilt your shoulders towards the camera, right cheek to the camera, and just do this. I know you can't see my arms, but all I did was one arm is above the head, that's third position, one arm is in second position, and all you gotta do is lengthen them. So I'm making one long line this way with my arms, and I am making one long line this way from my head down to my neck, down to my legs. down so you can see the arms. That's it. This pose happens a lot in ballet. We just finished a thing. Duh, we just finished. Da 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 da. Happens a lot. We do this a lot. On releve or on flat, doesn't even matter. Bum. As long as you make this long line, as long as you're making this long line, as long as you're arching from the top of your back and not your butt, should be fine. A releve passe, or a releve on one leg. This is difficult for people who don't do ballet. So I think most models are familiar with this movement. Right? The toe touching the knee. So the more flattering way to do it, as usual, is to do it at an angle. And it usually looks better, more impressive, if it is the leg closer to the camera doing the passe. However, you must focus so much on keeping that knee to the side. Like the knee wants to come up directly under your armpit. That's where your knee has to feel like it's reaching. So let's say, oh, do a passe, do something on one leg. So we're gonna do one arm in first, the arm that is closest to the camera in first position, one arm in second position, and you're going to just look a little bit with your head as if you're reaching over your elbow with your eyes, like you want to see over your elbow. And then all you're going to do is plie, push off of both feet. You need all the help you can get to get up on that high foot. And this leg is going to go, the knee is going to feel like it's reaching behind the shoulder. So you start like this, get ready, take a breath. You don't even need to be perfectly turned out, but all you have to do is really fight for this pointy foot and the knee to the side. And look, you'll have a nice pose. Let's say it's a video shoot and they want to see you do some movement. The safest and easiest thing to do are just barres. There's even a secret to making barres look flattering. Legs are touching. There is no space in between the legs. When you do barres, you are up on your highest releve. You imagine that the back foot is leading you. Usually the direction that you are traveling in is the arm that goes up. That's just kind of standard. There are other ways to do it, but let's say you're traveling to the right. Even though the back foot, the left foot is leading. Right foot front, you're traveling to the right. Right arm up. You could bring it up slowly, right? From first position to third position. You can do that. And you can actually open this one into second. You start here, oval, and then open up the oval as you're traveling and look through this elbow. It makes a very elegant line with your neck and your cheek. Okay, so a little movement. The producer's like, let's do a little video. Let's do a little promo video. Do a little reel, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. And you're like, oh shit, I don't know ballet. It's fine. This is ballet. Quarter turn. Well, let's see. If the camera is flat, so you can see all the other junk in my ballet studio. Camera is flat, right? And you want to travel to the right. So your right shoulder has to be the one that's forward. Turn a quarter turn from the camera, right shoulder front, up on your highest releve. Start with your arms in first. All you're going to do is take baby steps and open your arms like this. And you're going to look at your right arm. You're going to bring your right arm up and open your left arm. And keep that slight angle, okay? In ballet, we always travel from corner to corner. We very seldom travel flat because it's not flattering, it's not pretty. We're always trying to make long, elegant lines, so we mostly travel on a diagonal angle. So this is how you start. You ready, cameraman? They're gonna be like speed, rolling, and action. Do, 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 do. Left foot is leading, slowly opening the arms. That's it, you just did a movement. You just did ballet. Also, like, you can do research. Like, if you get booked for like a dance photo shoot, like, go look at like a professional dancer Instagram and just like look at some poses. You could go look at Point Magazine's Instagram and like look at their photos. You can look at a famous dance photographer, like look at Rachel Neville's photos. Like, I would hope you try to do at least a tiny bit of research. So if you're sitting there in like hair and makeup and like, you know, you're waiting for the crew to get their shit together and stuff, just like look at some poses. And, you know, maybe even the night before, try to practice at home in front of a mirror. There are certain angles and shapes that we must follow as a ballet dancer. So I know this was like a long video. It's kind of impossible to shorten all the little things that you have to remember in ballet. There's no 1-minute crash course on how to look like a ballet dancer without actually knowing how the body works in ballet. So I hope a couple of these poses helped you. And as I said, I'm going to have a whole separate thing about point shoes. Models doing ballet and they're given a pair of point shoes that look like crap and you're going to injure yourself and you get roasted on Instagram. So this is models doing ballet, the basics. Models doing ballet point shoe edition will come soon. I hope you had fun. Thank you very much. Stay salty.